Ole Miss Track and Field's Mensi Stiff welcomes you to Stiff Upper Lip, an Ole Miss podcast powered by the Ole Miss Spirit and RiverLand Roofing.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have Beth with me. I'm so excited, so let's just jump right into it. Let me whip out my phone. Okay. All right. Well, introduction to Beth is you're a runner on the cross country team. You're from Australia. Sorry.
She's trying to do it with the American accent.
And what, you're fifth year? No. You're fifth year.
Yeah, fifth year.
So tell us how you got into running, how you came to America.
Just in general. Yeah. So I guess I started running when I was like 8-ish, 9-ish. It was just for fun. I did it with my mom. We went to like the local cross country. And then I guess I kind of joined a training group, and then it was just fun and social. I played all the sports, played like soccer, water
I love how
polo.
That's fun for you. I remember when I was 8, I hated running. I was like, no.
No. But like we have this thing called Little Athletics at home where it's basically like track and field, but you kind of try all the different events. And it's like it rotates every 2 weeks. So you do half the events one week and half the next. So that's how I kind of figured out that I was good at running.
Did you do throwing?
Yes. I was really good at shot put. I was really good at shot put.
That's really funny.
Yeah. So, and I was good at shot put and high jump as well as obviously running. But eventually when I was like 16, I decided to take it a little bit more seriously. And then I got a lot better because I was taking it more seriously.
Yeah.
And I had a teacher in high school, and she was like, her son was at Wisconsin. I don't know if you know Oliver Hall.
No.
But yeah, he was really good in the NCAA. She was like, have you ever thought about maybe going to like America? And then I guess at that same time I had my Instagram was like blowing up with schools contacting me.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of like, oh, maybe it is an option.
Did you have a lot of American schools contact you?
Yeah. It was pretty much all American. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll come over to the States. I don't really know. Like it wasn't really in my goals.
Yeah.
Initially. I thought I'd stay in Sydney.
Yeah. I love that. I feel like so many people that I talk to, it's never the initial goal.
No.
Because mine wasn't either.
No.
I never wanted to come for track.
I was kind of like, I'll do it in, high school, and then once I get to college, like I'll just do it socially with the clubs at home, and that'll be it. But yeah, I ended up contacting a couple schools contacted me, and I was like, okay, I'll come on a visit. And then I guess that was it. After I saw the schools and like facilities, I was like, I want to be here. So
Had you ever been to America before?
I had only been to Hawaii, so it doesn't really count.
Count.
So yeah, and I was just like, this is the place I'm meant to be at. So I was at Akron initially, and then obviously transferred to Ole Miss. So
I forgot you transferred.
Yeah,
I feel like transferring, my sister transferred, and like hearing her go through it, I was like, I don't think I could do it.
No, it was really hard. Like initially, I loved it at Akron, but COVID, coaching changes, it makes it difficult.
Yeah.
So it was coming to Ole Miss was the best decision. I don't regret it. I love it here, so I don't want to leave. Yeah.
I love that. That's so fun. Do you miss your family and your parents?
Yes.
Was that hard?
Yeah. Obviously, like, it's difficult, especially during COVID. When I did come over, it's like I couldn't go home. Like, even if I wanted to, I wasn't even allowed into my own country at a certain point. So that's hard.
Yeah.
And, like, my parents were definitely, especially my mom, she's, like, someone that if I ever needed her, she'd drop everything and be over here.
Yeah.
And she couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
So that was definitely
That was hard. It was a hard time.
Yeah. I think everyone struggled in their own way.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But it was also taught me a lot. And I think I grew a lot, even as an 18-year-old, 19-year-old. I was like, it was a challenge, but I needed it to see other things. Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. I can't imagine going to another country at 18. I don't think I'd be mature enough.
I think you'd be fine. I know you. Hey, your sister's doing it. You can do it too.
Yeah, you guys are doing a little swap
doing a little
countries.
Slip, yeah.
Okay, my next thing, speaking of maturity, was one of my favorite things about you is that you're so, like, wise. Like, I feel like for anyone who doesn't know, she also does nails.
Yes.
And so she always does my nails, and I'm always telling her about, like, my problems, my boy problems, and you give the best advice.
I try.
No, like, such good advice. So, did you, like, always have, like, a good head on your shoulders? Or when you were younger, did you make mistakes? How did, like...
Yeah, I think I've always been quite mature for my age. I definitely made mistakes. I think we all do. But I think a big thing for me that my mum always told me was learn from your mistakes. And I had an older brother. He was 9 years older, but I was kind of raised as an only child, and my parents were a bit older. Yeah. So I was kind of forced to be pretty independent pretty early on. So I think that, that sometimes has its negatives, and I would have loved to have had siblings close to my age. But I think in other ways, it made me really mature, and it made me have a good head on my shoulders. Yeah, from a young age. So I think I've always kind of had that. Like, I think I've always been that friend that people come to for advice, and I help them, or sometimes I just listen. Yeah.
I love it. All right. So kind of on that, like, piece of advice that you would give to your high school self.
Yeah, a piece of advice.
Or something that you, like, did learn in high school that got you to be able to be, like, here.
I think a big thing is that when I was in high school, I was a people pleaser, which is crazy because I'm not like that now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I think that if you're more honest from a younger age, and you tell people what you want and how you want to be treated, I think that's really important. Because people pleasing is great, and I was like that when I was younger, but I think that...
I feel like so many people are in high school, too. Like, I feel like if you're not a people pleaser in high school, it's like, obviously it's weird, but, like, it's just, like, so much harder, I think.
Yeah. But I think it's like...
Like, to some degree, everyone is.
Yeah, and I think that obviously you're in a big group of people, and I was at an all-girls school, so I feel like that dynamic, you kind of want to try and fit in, and it was a bit difficult, and it wasn't until I think like year 11, year 12, where I kind of figured out who I was and what I wanted, and the people that I wanted to surround myself with, where I was like, I don't have to people please everyone. Like, it's okay to say no, and it's okay to not agree, and it doesn't mean you have to be disrespectful. Obviously, you're always nice to people, but it's okay. So I think that would be a big thing that I would tell myself, is like, it's okay to not, have to follow the crowd, and you can be yourself.
Yeah. That was literally my next thing I was talking about, because we've had this conversation before about how you were like, I figured out just to find my own people, and like, I think that's a big thing that I like to talk about too, is just like finding your people and like being content when you don't fit in necessarily at first.
Yeah.
Because then it's like you wait and then you find the people that you like, but like, how did you get to that point?
Yeah, I think it's like trial and error, right? I think you surround yourself with people, and at times you're like, do I really fit in with these people? Are they really my vibe? Like, do they have the same values, the same morals? And I think there's been moments where I've been around individuals and I'm like, this just isn't for me.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And I think recognizing that it's okay is a good thing.
Yeah.
And so as I've gotten older, I'm like, I know that I love friends that are kind, caring, loving. Like, that's why we're friends.
Yeah.
It's like, we have those similar traits.
Yeah.
And I only want to be around those people that are like that.
Yeah.
And also supportive of others. And if people aren't like that, then I'm like, then I don't really want to be around. And that's like, it's a hard struggle, I think, especially when you're in college too, and being on a team environment. It's like, you want to kind of fit in, right?
Yeah.
But pulling back and being like, well, I don't need to fit in. I can be my own person and still be respected. It's I think that's a maturity thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that definitely is. Because I feel like at least when I was in high school, I was not. Like, I was so, like, I don't even care if these people and I don't necessarily mesh. Like, I will make myself mesh. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you'll find your own people in doing that. And I think, like, the last few years, I've realized that maybe I've been a little distant from the people I used to hang out with, but I found other people because I've done other experiences because I haven't been around them. So, like, for example, like, last year, I decided to join the pickleball club on a Wednesday.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I went to Special Olympics on a Tuesday on campus, and I was like, I met all these people that I never would have met before.
Yeah.
And yes, maybe they're not running and sport related, but they have other passions that are similar to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool because it's like then I have a group of people that are multifaceted and come from all different kind of backgrounds and do different things and enjoy different things. So I really liked that.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
See, I feel like that's like one thing I could work on because I feel like I really surround. Someone asked me the other day, they're like, "Would you date anyone that wasn't an athlete?" And I was like, "No."
I'm kind of like that too, though. I'm kind of like that too, but that's more of like sport oriented for me. I'm like, I love working out, so I have to be with someone that likes to work out too. So
yeah, I was like, I don't think I could. Like, I think it would be too like. That sounds so horrible, but like. I think that it's one of those things where it's like
a lifestyle.
I don't want to say like it's immoral, but it's like such a big part of my life. I can't imagine like not what are you doing when you don't have that, but like it's just like so much of who I am that like I need someone that's like
it's
that
part
too.
of your identity.
Yeah,
right?
it's like the same as like I don't think I could date someone that doesn't believe in God. Like I think that would be hard for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it would just be hard because it's like you see the world too differently. Because I think you need differences, but nothing. I feel like there are certain things that you just can't compromise on. I think those are my two big ones.
I think values and morals, they need to be very similar. In a way, in terms of what you're interested in, and other aspects can be different. Yeah, totally.
And like you can be pushed on other things. I just think if you have like, because I don't think you should have like 15 different things. That's like, okay, you have to agree on all this, but like I think everyone should have like one or two. Really important things.
I totally agree with that.
That kind of took a side turn.
We love a side turn though. That's good.
That's kind of what I need because I never read enough to talk about.
No, that's fine.
Okay, this is kind of my next one too, and I'm just curious your thoughts on this. Is like when you think like a friendship, a relationship, whatever type of relationship just isn't providing for you anymore.
Yeah.
Like how do you sense that out?
Yeah, I think that, you know when you're kind of in a friendship or a relationship and slowly over time, I think things start to shift as you get to know each other more. And I think for me, it's like I always try and follow my gut. And
you have really good guidance.
Yeah, and I think that for the most part, look, sometimes I stuff up, but I haven't usually
For me, when you've given me advice, it's all worked out. So.
Yeah. So I'm like, I feel like I have a pretty good gut instinct, especially around friendships and relationships. And it's like, I know that I give my heart completely to my friends and to people if like I date. I'm like, I'm like that as a person. Yeah. And so I'm like, I have to have that back too, because I know that I deserve that in return as well. So if I know for a friend, if I'm not receiving that back, and it's not necessarily what they can do for me. It's not like that. It's more just like, are they putting as much effort into this as I am?
Yeah, because I feel like I always hear people talk about this, and it's like, they're always like, when they're giving back to you, but you're giving back to them. But then I'm always like, I don't think relationships should be like,
give and take.
Yeah, give and take. Like, but I still think that there should be. I don't know. I feel like it's a hard
certain
balance.
Level of effort.
Yeah,
I think there has to be a certain level. So I'm like, are they giving that to me as well? And it's like sometimes friendships fizzle out. That does happen, and that doesn't mean that has to be a bad ending. I think there's always that negativity attached to it.
Yeah,
like sometimes like it's okay to part ways and be respectful.
Like a thing that I've always struggled with. I can't part ways with friendships.
Yes.
Like once I'm your friend, like you're not getting rid of me.
Yeah.
Once I get to a certain level of like I love you and I would do anything for you, like it's so hard for me to ever walk away from that.
Yeah. So I think for me, it's like obviously how long have you had this friend or this person in your life? But obviously if they've done something negative to you and they've hurt your feelings and they haven't acknowledged that and they don't want to work through it, then I think that's a different story. That's where I'm like, I've tried my best to like heal something that's happened between us and you've just got to know, then that's where I go, okay, well, there's my boundary. Like, you've got to respect that kind of thing. So I think for me with friends, it's like, I have my boundaries and I also have to put that boundary in place, but they have to respect that too.
Yeah.
But I think like friends do come and go, and that's like a natural path. And I think accepting that is like people walk into your life to teach you something, and sometimes they leave and sometimes they don't. Yeah. And it's like, what can you learn from your friends? Like they can also teach you a lot. Yeah. So I think, for me, it's
killing it.
Yeah. Like it's just kind of like I have that kind of ideology behind it, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Okay, what would you be like your biggest piece of advice to tell someone to be a strong, independent woman? Because I feel like you're always like when I tell someone, you're like, no, you're a strong, independent woman.
You just
and it's like, okay, how do you get there?
I think follow your passions. If someone tells you can't do it, they're probably sometimes just jealous. You can do it. I think for me, it's like the amount of times I was told no on things. Yeah. Like I remember in high school, one of my teachers, she was like to me, and I remember to this day, she was like, you're not going to be able to run competitively and do well in your HSC, which is kind of like our final exams. And I remember in the back of my head, I was like, no, that's not going to happen. I'm going to prove you wrong. Yeah. Right? And I was like, because I knew I could do it. So it's like having that instinct in yourself. Yeah. That gut feeling. Yeah. Like you can achieve this if you put your mind to it. I think anyone can. It's just the amount of effort you've got to put into it to achieve it is what counts. So for me, it's like, I have these goals, I have these aspirations. I'm not going to let people get in the way of me achieving those things. Like I want to do them. So, and you're like that too. I know that.
No, I am. When it comes to throwing, like, I'll tell you, like, people probably think I'm crazy because I'll just say things and I'll just be like, no, like, I'm going to go to the Olympics. Yeah. Okay.
And it's like,
and
you speak it into possibility, right? Yeah. The more that you say it, the more that
I'm just such a big believer of like mindset. Like it drives me insane if I hear somebody and they're like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to make this meet. There's no way. And it's like 6 months out. I'm like, yeah, if you say that, you're not gonna be able to. Yeah. Like it's like, oh, I'm gonna have a bad practice today. I'm like, yeah, if you say that before we even start the practice, you're gonna have a bad practice. Yeah. Like mindset is everything. Yeah.
Protecting homes and businesses from the whims of nature, you need more than just quality materials. You require RiverLand Roofing. Licensed, insured, and certified, RiverLand Roofing offers not only the assurance of excellence, but a tailored approach to your unique structural needs and budget. To learn more about what RiverLand Roofing can do for you and the community, call them at 662-644-4297 or visit riverlandroofing.com.
Have you listened to Mel Robbins by chance?
No.
Oh, you have to listen to her podcast. You would love her.
I will.
She has this technique she says in the morning to do part of your morning routine, and I love this lady. She's changed my mindset so much. She's incredible.
No, I think mindset is so much more important than people think, especially for athletes. Like, I feel like if you would, like, my mindset when I was in high school is so different than now.
I agree.
And, like, I've reached so much more success now than I did in high school.
Yeah. But big thing that she would talk about was that she's like, it may sound bizarre, but she's like, look in the mirror and you see yourself in the mirror saying something positive every day.
Yeah.
Whether that's like, I'm going to have an awesome practice. I'm going to ace this test.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that I'm positive today.
Yeah.
I'm going to go support a friend. So you see yourself in the mirror saying these things, and it tricks your brain into actually believing it.
No,
because
I
you
love
see
that.
yourself.
Yeah.
Because I think when your friends say these positive affirmations and positive things to you, you believe them because
Yeah.
your friends are saying them
Yeah.
to you and you care about them. But sometimes people don't believe themselves.
Yeah.
So actually seeing it.
No, I've seen that.
helps.
Have you, Lexi Haldigo, I don't know if I'm saying her last name right, but she did an episode and it was like, she was talking about how you have to be there for yourself or you're not going to believe yourself.
Yes.
So it's like, if I tell myself I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. and then I never wake up at 6 a.m., then I'm never going to think I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, I'm going to tell myself I'm going to go to the grocery store. Even if I know I am actually going to go to the grocery store, if I tell myself and then I do it and I teach my brain to actually follow through on things.
Accountability.
Yeah. Then like it'll build the like discipline and
Yes.
stuff. And like
exactly
I feel like
right.
I'm a super disciplined person when it comes to throwing, but like not really
Other
anything
aspects,
else.
yeah.
Like my school, I'm not disciplined in and like all that stuff. But like when it comes to throwing, like it's just because I want it. Like I
Yeah.
want it more than anything else. And so it's
Yeah.
like I agree. I think like if you have that in the back pushing you, it's
Pushing
like
you.
because I think I used to care so much what people thought, and now it's just like
There's no point because it's honestly draining.
no,
Like,
yeah,
if you care so much about what others think all the time, it's like, it is so exhausting,
Yeah.
right? And you kind of hit a breaking
and you
point.
get like stressed out over
You
things.
do.
Like I don't know if you were like this. I think this might have just been a thing because we were young. But like in middle school and high school, I would have to like get my people's approval before I posted on Instagram.
Oh, yes. Oh,
and I'd be like, "Do you think this is cute? Do you think
totally.
this is cute?" Now I'm not joking. Like we'll be sitting
post
all
it.
together, and my friends are like, "You posted again?" I'm like, "Yeah,
Why not?
go like."
I agree. It's actually funny you say that because I was literally just thinking social
Really?
media.
Yeah.
I used to be so insecure with social media.
Yeah,
I'm
and
like,
now I literally post anything that
Yeah.
I want. I'm like, I don't care. I treat it like a Snapchat
yeah,
story at this point.
because I'm like, I was so worried what people would think and if someone would send it or this or that.
Yes.
And now I'm like, you know what? Even if someone did send it, they're talking about it for 2 seconds and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah,
even if
because
it's
sometimes I have to
negative,
because you know on like TikTok you can see who shared it. I'm like, oh no god, like who shared this?
Yeah.
And then I'm just like,
it's
whatever.
whatever.
They can
Because
share
I'm
it.
like, also I'm like, if there's someone saying something positive or someone saying something negative, they're talking about you regardless.
Yeah.
So it's just like whatever. Okay? And
Yeah.
it's like you
The
may as
moments
well
are fleeting.
do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
And I think a big thing too with social media is like you shouldn't be posting for other people. You should be posting for yourself and your own creativity.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing that I've tried to put in myself is like have fun with it, post what you want, and like I love to make my Instagram aesthetic.
Or who you are. Yes, your
like,
Instagram
it's
is
a-
so aesthetic. I love
It's
it.
like a Pinterest board for me.
Yeah.
I'm like I love to match the colors and make it pretty, and like I do that for me.
Yeah.
I don't do that for anyone else.
Or like, because I do think, like I've always said, like I want the audience that I want, like that's what I want to be posting for.
Yes.
So if other people are talking about it, I don't care. Like if I want to be posting for like young girls, I want them to see it. If there's some random like 20-year-old guy that sent it because he's making fun of me, like I don't care.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
he's not the person I'm trying to.
He's not your target audience.
Yeah, he's not my target audience.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and that's just an example. But like, yeah, I
It
agree.
is true. But I think like social media awareness, I think is so important because I think too, like I notice, you know, even younger girls, even that's on the team or just in the environment of college that I've spoken to, it's like they're so insecure. It's like that
Yeah.
insecurity of
Well,
being worried.
And it's so hard when you're like a younger girl on the team too. And I feel like it's been like 5 years for you, but like, it was just a few months ago for me. When I was like a younger girl on the team, it was like so hard to like And not because anyone did anything. Like,
No.
all of the girls on the team are literally the best. I'm obsessed
Yeah.
with our team. But, like, it's just hard because it's just, like, I don't want to be weird. I don't want to be the freshman that thinks, like, they're full of themselves, or, like, the freshman that this, freshman that
weird
that.
dynamic.
Because it's already hard because you're a freshman, and it's,
Yeah.
like, there's already so much that comes with that.
I agree, yeah.
And then it's, like, I kind of feel like I had to prove myself, like, with throwing, with my
Yeah.
stats before I could start, like, diving into things. But... which I kind of wish I didn't do, because I also felt that way in high school. And, like, looking back, I was like, there's so many things that I could have, like, gone off in high school. Because,
Yeah.
like, I had so many great opportunities, and I just kind of let them pass me
Because
by.
you're like, oh, what are people going to think?
Yeah.
Or like, oh, how's this going to go? How are people going to react? And it's like, just go for it.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
And it's like, I love seeing those TikTok videos of those, like, influencers. And they're like, when someone has said, like, oh, I'm just posting silly content. And then
Yeah.
they're like, look at me now.
Yeah.
And, like, they're making all this money and they're posting whatever they want. And their silly little videos got them to where they are now. And it's
Yeah.
like, they were never silly to start off with.
Yeah.
It's like, but they were worried.
Yeah. Like, have you seen those? There's one thing, and it's like, and I love this. When I saw it, I loved it. And it was like, no professional athlete is going to make fun of you for going to work out.
Exactly.
No millionaire is going to make fun of you for trying to do this. No YouTuber is going to make fun of you for posting videos.
Yes.
Because no one started off. I mean, maybe there's a few who, like, Nepo babies who started off with stuff.
So,
but, like,
with
for
an
the most part, like,
advantage.
no one starts off with anything. Like, I don't, like, none of us started off with anything. When I was in high school, like, with throwing, I never started off being good. Like, I was so
have to
embarrassed. Yeah, you have to work for it. And sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. But, like, I was talking to someone today, and he was like, yeah, like, when I'm 80 years old and I'm on my deathbed, I just want to know that I tried.
You tried. Put
I
out
was like,
there.
yep,
Yeah.
that sums it up.
Yeah, it does. And also, like, going off that, I think I've seen a similar kind of quote. It's like, only the people that are going to be negative and try and not let you achieve are the people that are, like, not doing that to start off with.
Yeah.
So, like, starting off a business, if there's a successful business or not, they're going to be like, yes, start your business.
Yeah.
Like, go do it. You'll never regret it. Versus someone that doesn't have a business, they'll be like, oh, you might just fail. Like, blah, blah. They're the ones talking negative. The people
Yeah.
that actually achieved
And
it.
I feel like once you see
don't.
that, like, it's so much easier to see when people are being negative, because it's also, sometimes I'll get nervous to do things because I'll be like, oh my gosh, if this certain person, like, doesn't da-da-da, and they'll be successful, and then they're always the one that's most positive about it and most, like, supportive about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, that's awesome.
Because they're meant to be, like, mentors.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, for me, that's why I'm like, I always
And they
look
know the grind. Like, if I were to
Yes.
see a freshman girl, like, grinding in high school, I'd be like, I know. Like,
Yeah.
you're killing it. You're
Yeah.
doing great. I don't care what your numbers are.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing great.
But it kind of goes into the mentality of, like, you know how there's they kind of say, like, if you're in the room and you're the smartest, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
Right? And I agree with that. I'm like, I constantly want to
I
surround
agree.
myself with people that are more intelligent, smarter, better athletes.
Yeah.
It goes across every board
Yeah.
because I'm like, that's the only way that I can get better as a person.
Yeah.
And I can learn something from
Yeah.
them too. So, yeah.
I feel like athletically, that's such a big one. I remember in high school, like, I was getting, and this is not to sound like whatever, but, like, I was number one in the country for 2 years, and then at some point I was just like, okay, like, I need a new challenge.
Yeah.
And so, like, coming here was so great because it's like I came here
are
with, like,
surrounded with it.
Jelani and Jazz and, like, all these just, like, incredible, like, NCAA runners. Like,
Yes.
Jelani was on the world team. Like, it's just, like, it really does bump you up, and it's
Yeah.
made me so much better.
But it also normalizes those standards.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So, like,
We
being
talk
on a
about that all the
team,
time because
yeah.
we're like, oh my gosh, this is so horrible, this is so horrible. And then we're like, wait, like,
We're some of the best in the country,
I was
so
like,
obviously.
if we were at any other school, like, that wouldn't be a thing. But no, it
Yeah.
does. It normalizes higher standards.
Yeah, and that's what I agree
It's
with.
great.
Yeah, because, like, even being here, I'm like, with running, like, things that I used to think were way out of my league. Like, yeah, it would be a goal, but I'm like, that is going to be so hard to achieve. Now, being in the environment that I'm in at Ole Miss and Ole Miss Cross and Track, I'm like, it's become so much more feasible.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you want to make NCAAs, or you want to be, you know, all SEC or this or that. Like, yeah, that's an expectation. Like,
Yeah.
it should happen.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, now I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that.
And I feel like that's also such a blessing. I always think back, I'm like, it was my dream to go to school here. Like,
Yeah.
I get my Snapchat memories, and I was like, it was my, like, biggest dream in the world to be able to come to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And it was then, like, I remember, like, this is so embarrassing. I, like, wrote a letter to myself when I was a freshman in high school, and I thought I wouldn't be good enough to come to a school like Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I hope I get into a different school, and, you know, I can get a little bit of scholarship money. And then I'm like, holy cow. Like, if freshman
now.
Menzi could see me now,
Yeah.
or see, like, how things worked out, like, it's such a blessing.
It
Like,
is,
I'm like,
yeah.
this is something to be grateful for. Like, I'm
Yes.
living what used to be my dream. Like, and it still is my dream, but,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, like, crazy.
But then it's also crazy how like your perspective shifts that too. 'Cause
Yeah.
the younger you wanted to be here, and then now you're here, still living in the moment, but you have even bigger dreams and goals. And then when you get to that, you'll look back and be like, wow, I never thought that would happen. It was just a goal, and then now I'm here. So
it's like,
so
and
cool.
you want to look back enough to be grateful, but not look back enough where you don't set new heights for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be like, oh, stuck on the past, but like, be like, oh, I'm grateful for that, and now let me go shoot for this.
Yeah, agreed.
But no, I love that. All right, switching gears, kind of. We're still
Kind of.
but about like running and working, and obviously you're a fifth year. You've been doing this for a really long time. How do you like stay motivated? And like, I feel like that's kind of a basic question, but I feel like you could definitely. I know you have some good tips for that.
I think the big thing for me is that I love the sport. I love running. Like, even if I didn't run, I would be following everything and going to track meets and supporting. I think that's a big thing. Even when I go home, like, even it's summer right now, so it's middle of track season, and I'm like, I'm going to 2 meets already with some of my best friends. So I think for me, it's created this love for the sport and respect for the sport that's like motivates me. But also I think that constant motivation is that I just want to see what I can do and push myself. And it's like, that's what I think about it, in the back of my head every day is like, what can I achieve whilst I'm here? Yeah. And it's like, I go there to practice every day, and I'm like, I want to get the most out of it. Yeah. But another factor too is the team. And I never had this before. And it's also my coach too. Yeah. It's like, I have that extrinsic motivation, I guess, where I'm like, when I'm having a tough day and things are hard and school is crazy, and like, I work as well. So I'm like, got to go to work, and I'm like, I've got to cross train and do a double. And I'm like, well, I'm doing this for my team. Yeah. It's not just me anymore. It's them. So I think that's a big factor. But also, like, I think motivation comes from setting goals, and also like, I don't think it's always about the end outcome. It's the process. So I know for me, it's like, I have daily goals and I have weekly goals that will get me to my final goal. Yeah. So I think,
well, it's kind of like you can't look at like a marathon and be like, I have to run 32 miles. It's like, I have to go run this first mile, and then, take it day by day. Because I agree, it gets too hard if you look at it.
And overwhelming.
Yeah. Like, if I were to think about, oh my gosh, I have to do like 9 more years of training or then like, that's so overwhelming. But I'm just like, holy cow, I have an able body. I can go out and work my butt off today. Yeah. And then it's just like, tomorrow will be tomorrow.
Yeah. And I think that changing that perspective has allowed me to stay motivated. I didn't always have that. I'd always be like, I need to get this time. Yeah. And I was so time oriented. But now I'm like, well, as long as I fuel properly and I get 8 to 9 hours sleep every night, and I do my rehab every day, I get treatment, and I take
because the little things are what will get you there if you're focused on little things. But if you're only focused on the end outcome, then like, you're not ever going to get it.
Yeah.
You can never just stay focused on that, because it just won't happen.
Yeah. And I think that shifting my perspective to the little things has now allowed me to have that step up. Yeah. And some people, they don't see that, but for me, I'm like, I've noticed such a difference. And like, I think another factor too, like with motivation, is that I love to journal. I love to reflect. And I think that also keeps me motivated, because I'm constantly looking at what I'm doing, and I'm aware of what I'm doing, and I'm like, that just pushes me one step further. Yeah.
No, I love journaling, especially.
I preach it. Yeah. I preach it. Everyone, I'm like, get a journal and write things down. It'll help. Yeah.
Especially though, being like, I used to be like, oh, that's for people. Like, those are for
like. It's a negative stigma around it a little bit, isn't it?
Not even that. Like, I just was like, no, I'm an athlete. Like, I just need to be tough and da-da-da. But I think like, I don't know, personally for me, and like, like me being an athlete, like, I think it's so much of like my mental state, and like writing it down helps me so much. And like, you really don't think it will, but like writing something down just like takes the burden off of you. And I used to think that was such like bull, and I was like, no, like that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But it does, like writing something down, like even if it's just like a confession or like anything, it makes me feel so much better. Like how I'm feeling, why I'm feeling it. And then once you start writing it down, you like kind of like, and then it's like you kind of dissect things, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like, you figure things out more.
Yeah. And it's funny because I used to always journal in private, and I wouldn't talk about it. Yeah. And I think that was an insecurity.
There was like a stigma. There was a stigma. And like, I feel like now on social media, it's like journaling's cool. It's like
but
the
it wasn't
thing to be
for
doing.
A long time.
Yeah.
And so like when I was,
there was a stigma.
When I was 18, 19, I didn't talk about it, because I was like, I remember I was seeing a counselor, and she was like, you should do it. Like, it'll help you with like your sports and just life. And I was just like, oh yeah, maybe, like, I do a bullet point, and I'd write 1 word a day, because I didn't know what to do. And then by now I'm like, I love it, and I preach it. And but now it's got to the point where like I'm in the tent at cross country, like the day of the race, and I'm sitting there and I'm journaling in the tent, and I don't care. I don't care what people think, because I'm like, this is what helps me run well. Like I'm writing down what I'm going to do in the race, if something goes wrong.
I love to write
good.
like what's gonna go what's gonna happen. Like the day of regionals of last year, which I had a horrible, not horrible to my standards, it was bad, of a season last year, and like the day of regionals I was like writing down, I was like, I will make it to nationals, I will have my PR of the year, I will do this, I will do that, and I did.
Exactly.
And it worked.
Yeah. And like
I was happy.
Yeah.
It's like, I will make it to the Olympic
She's
trials. I made it to the Olympic trials.
She killed it. But it's like you're positively reinforcing yourself.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's like running is so hard, and it
Right?
hurts.
I don't know how you guys do that.
It hurts, and you know it's gonna hurt, and it's that anticipation of when it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
And so, like for me, trying to get past
I
that
feel
barrier.
about needles.
No one likes needling. Let's be honest. But it's like, I know with journaling, like I'll write down, it's going to hurt. But when it starts to hurt, and I need to dig deeper because I've trained so hard and I've gone through it.
It is a mindset thing, because I became like, not like obsessed, but I was like, when something's really hard or like I'm having a really hard day, like I like eat it up.
Yes.
Like I was like, I love to throw in the rain because it just like makes me feel like I'm in like a Rocky movie or something.
Yeah.
And I like eat that up. Like I like pretend like I'm like doing whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like sometimes you just have to pretend. Like Dempsey tells us, he's like, just pretend you're in your last meet and like these 3 throws or this or that. I'm like, honestly, like you really should just fake it until you make it.
Yeah.
Because it does like, it makes me feel like I have grit and I have like toughness and like, I don't know if I do because I just like fake it.
Nah, you're a tough cookie. But yeah, I think it's that it's really helped me with telling myself that I can do it when it hurts and gets hard. So I think, it's a great thing. Great tool.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. I've reached the end of my Google Docs.
Oh, wow. Look at us.
If you have anything else you want to add.
I don't know. I feel like, okay, question. What do you think has been the hardest aspect and the easiest aspect of college?
Oh my, neither what I thought it would be.
Okay.
I feel like I thought things were going to be so much different than they actually were. I think the hardest aspect has been like socially, and not in like a weird way. I think just when I was in high school, like we were all grouped together. We kind of had our friend group since we were young. Like socially, things just came so easily. Everyone was invited to everything. Like there was always something going on. There was always something for me to go to. And like training wise, I feel like it's just been what I've always done. So like it wasn't, and like I feel like I know what I'm meant to be doing when it comes to throwing, and like if there's one thing that I'm just so certain of, it's that, and it's like that I'm meant to be throwing. So really, like I feel like throwing wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, but like everything else around it was a lot more challenging. And I feel like and I think it's also hard because like you just don't realize when you come to college, like you start fresh with no friends.
Yeah.
And like I'm like you, like I love so deeply. And like it was so hard. Like I have my best friend and I from back home, like best friends since like kindergarten. Like these are my ride or die girls. And when I first got here, I was just trying to grab on to anybody that I think could be my best friend. And like I think that was like so hard. And then like eventually I found MC, and like she is my ride or die. Like she will be at my wedding.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually you will, but I think I just never realized how hard it was gonna be. And then like you're just trying to balance everything. I had so much freedom, which was different for me because I grew up in a strict household, and like that was like harder for me. So I think it's just like so much is thrown at you that you don't think about. But like as far as like training would go, and I feel like you would think that'd be like the harder part, like I feel like that was the easier part because I just like I was so excited to be here. I still am. Like I'm just so happy to be here. I'm so happy to go to NCAAs. Like I just really do like love it so much, so it's not hard for me.
Yeah.
Not in like there were so many hard moments. Like in season was really hard for me. I had like a rough season last year, but like I don't know, like throwing itself wasn't difficult. I think it was just like a lot of other things outside of it.
It's a big adjustment.
Yeah.
It is a big adjustment. I think this year you're blossoming there.
I agree. Well,
so it just takes a year. I think the dorms and just freshman year is hard.
The dorms were so hard. Yeah. Like, and the thing is, and me and Adie talk about this because Adie was my roommate, and like we loved rooming together. Like I don't think like I think everyone had some type of tiff to happen between them and their roommates. I genuinely don't think me and Adie ever did.
But I also think that that's because you two are also very honest people.
No, we are.
And so and that's what I love is that like I have the same relationship with Joe. Yeah. Right? Is that if Joe and I ever have a problem with each other, we say it how it is. We're kind of like sisters. And so not even like it might be a small little thing. It's not an issue, but we'll just say it and then it's dealt with. Right?
And I'm
not
like
building up.
Yeah, and I'm like not a person where it's like if you tell me something, I don't take I don't really take anything super personally. Like it takes a lot to upset me.
Yeah, I agree.
Like MC, who is like seriously one of the most emotionally intelligent people I've ever met, and she just would be like, "Oh my God, like did that hurt your feelings?" I'm like, no. Like, was that supposed to hurt my feelings? Like, I didn't even think that was mean. And she's like, oh my gosh, are we arguing? And I'm like, no, like, that's just how I talk. Like, I have, like, no. And that's how I think, like, me and Adie can just say it and, like, we'll be fine. And, like, we also just, like, neither of us just never cared, like, that much about anything to, like, be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you do this or that. But it worked out so well, too, because we were different event groups. I think it's really hard when you're the same event group.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I don't know, like, for other sports how like because obviously they're all on the team together and I think it's easier with track because they're different event groups so it's like different teams in one team and so we would like our practice schedules were we were around different people we could tell each other like our group drama and like we wouldn't care because we were different groups you know what I mean
it breaks it up for sure
but it's like we just but I know like everyone had not problems but like I just know like it gets really hard. But, like, the dorm, living in it, I couldn't do it. Like, I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, the space is so small. I have so many clothes. Not enough storage.
She's a fashion girl. I know.
No.
I
like, just went through and got, like, 2 bins full of clothes last night. I was like, okay, I'm going to get rid of these. I didn't. They're in storage. I was like, I can't get rid of them. I think
we're going to have to do a declutter. We don't want to be, she's going to be a clothes hoarder. I love that.
I am. I, like, can't get rid of anything. I used to make fun of my mom because she, like, doesn't get rid of things. And I was like, I can't believe you don't do that. I can't get rid of anything. Because especially now that, like, I buy things that are, like, not $5. Like, like, nicer items. I'm like, I'm not selling this.
Yeah.
This is staying with me. If I paid $45 or $100 or whatever, like...
Yeah, I'm keeping it.
I'm keeping it.
Yeah. I made that purchase. I have to keep it.
Yeah. I was like, I bought, like, oh my gosh, when I was in high school, like, everyone was obsessed with Love Shack Fancy. And I was like, okay. So I got, like, these dresses from Love Shack Fancy. And I still think they're cute and stuff, but they're just not, like... my vibe right now and like I probably won't wear them anytime soon but like I'm just like I can't get rid of it I'm keeping it one of them doesn't even fit me anymore and I'm like I'm keeping it.
Actually that kind of a question too, how do you think in college you've been able to shape your own fashion and your sense of fashion? How has college shaped that and how do you feel like as you're getting older?
I love how you're asking me questions.
I know now I'm the interviewer. But how do you feel like you found your own fashion since being in college? I think that's always a bit difficult.
Did you have uniforms?
Yes.
Yeah. I had uniforms. I had uniforms K through I graduated. So like I literally can't think of a time where I didn't have like my outfit made for me.
Okay. Yes.
So weird coming to college. Like no one talks about it. Like I literally was like texting my high school best friends and I was like, no, like it's so hard to pick out an outfit for college. But I feel like it's my like who I am as a person is so different than who I thought I was going to be. Like, I think if I had come to Ole Miss, because when I went to high school, I really thought, like, I was very, like, my personality was very, like, sorority girl, like, cutesy, like, and I thought when I came to college, like, that's who I was going to be. But I think it's just because that's how I grew up, but that's not.
It's a product of how you were raised.
But I don't think it's who I am as a person. And I think I realized that coming here, and I was like, I think if I came here and I didn't do athletics, I think I would end up transferring because I just don't think that's me. Yeah. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just don't think that's who I am as a person. And I feel like I've figured out, like, if this, like I've thought about this before, actually a journaling prompt was like, if this wasn't what I'd be doing, I think I would want to live in like Chicago or New York and like genuinely like, I think I just like, I like funky things and like, I either like to be funky or like old money, like there's no in between. Like my mom would be like, wow, you look so classy, like you look really good, or she'd be like, oh, no, that's an interesting outfit. I'm like, yep, that's me.
That's you.
But like, I love that. And like, I feel like it's so much different than I thought it was going to be. Like, I feel like I'm such a different person than I thought I was going to be, like who I turned out to be. And I feel like that is something, because I love clothes. Like, I love my outfits. I love clothes. I love shopping. And I used to be like, that's kind of embarrassing, but I don't think it is. Like, that's just like.
I think it's creativity.
I think it's creativity, and I think it's like expression. And I'm like very vocal about things too, and I'm just like, no, I don't like that, but I do like this, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, it's just creativity. It's creative differences. It has nothing to do with anybody who they are as a person.
No,
like, if you told me you don't like my outfit, I don't care.
Yeah,
okay.
Like,
oh, well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's like, so I love that. Because I think also, too, college gives you the freedom to explore that.
Yeah. And like, and I feel like also, I love my mom so much, and she's just like me, like very opinionated. And so, and we are very different when it comes to so many things. And so I think when I was younger, I like, and I also look up to her a lot, so I'd kind of like copy her, and then if she'd be like, oh, your outfit's really cute, I'd be like, okay, I copied her and she likes it. But now I'm like able to stand on my own. It's like, even if my mom doesn't love my outfit, like I'm okay with that. which I feel like that sounds like normal, but like to me, that's a big deal. Because I used to be like, I could not do anything without my mom being like, no, I love it. It looks incredible. You look great. Like overly loving it.
Yeah.
But no, yeah.
I kind of
feel
get that. It's just funny because the outfit I wore at the football game on the weekend. Yeah, my mom, TikTok, my mom commented, she's like, I think your top button's undone, love.
Stop!
And I was laughing.
No, I know because
I was like, she was kidding, but I was just like, this is too funny. Like,
no, that is funny.
That's such a my mom comment.
You know, because my mom, I'm like, she'll make comments. I'm like, Mom, like, I'm in my 20s at Ole Miss. Like, I'm not always going to be dressing like I'm going to tea or something. Like, I'm going to, like, you're going to have to just let me figure it out. Because I think we're all just going to have times and moments where, like, we just aren't going to wear things that our moms and dads approve of. And that's okay.
It is okay. Because we're our own person.
Yeah.
It's
we're
fine.
figuring it out.
Yeah.
No, that's, and I tell my mom about that, like, with tattoos. 'Cause my mom hates
I remember
tattoos.
you told me this. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I was like, Mom, I really want some more tattoos. And she's like, can you just wait until I'm dead, please? And I'm like, no, don't say that.
Just put in the spot she's never going to see. And hope for the best.
No, because and then I was like, Mom, like, I don't like tattoos anywhere besides my arm. And she was like, no, like, you're not getting them there.
My mom was saying, when I came home with my first tattoo and I didn't tell her, and she goes, what is that?
Yeah, my mom was
And I was like,
mad.
oh. But I'm like, you know what? And I remember once my auntie knew. I got two in the US, and so I hadn't told my mom. And I went back to Australia, and I told my auntie, and we were at dinner, and I had my arm up, and I was like this, and like I see this tattoo, and my mom's at the dinner. She's like, what is that? And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, my mom thought it was a prank.
I was like,
first.
oh, nothing. And she's like, when did you get that? And I got the lecture at the dinner table.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I've gotten so many lectures.
but now she likes them. So I'm like, and then once she was like, could we get matching ones? I'm like, damn,
No,
that was a
that's so-
shift. Okay.
That's so funny because I was telling my mom about my tattoos that I want, and she was like, and there were meaningful ones for my dad and for my sister. And she was like, you don't want one for me? And I was like, well, Mom, you don't like tattoos. Like, I thought you would think it's... She was like, well, if you're going to get a tattoo, like, you need to get one for me.
Yeah.
She was like, it's okay if you get one for me. And I was like, okay. She was like, you can get Olympic rings and a tattoo for me. Those are the ones that she approves
well,
of.
that's good. At least you're halfway there.
Yeah, we're halfway there.
slowly.
But, yeah, I don't know. It's funny. That's, like, another thing that I'm just trying to be like, no, like, that's going to be who I am. Like, I like them, like, you don't have to. But I think it's also, like, a generational thing. Like, I think their generation doesn't like that
approved it,
stuff.
yeah.
But, like, because she's like, you're not going to be able to get a job. You're not going to be able to do this, that.
It's changing.
And I'm like, it's changing. And, like, what I want to, like, nothing I want to pursue in life, I think, is going to be detrimental to if I have a tattoo or not.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree. I think that was my parents' biggest concern when I first had them.
Yeah.
I said, I think it's kind of a little different. It's slowly
It's changing, yeah.
So.
And I was like, and I also just think my personality, like, I would never have, like, a 9-to-5 corporate job anyways. Like, that's just not who I am. Like, I'm going to be doing something odd. Like, I know it. And so, like, I don't think me having the tattoos is going to be, like, stray from whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I think it'll fit my job, actually.
Probably, yeah.
But
I can see that too.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I'm kind of similar in that
Yeah.
way. I'm like, it's whatever.
and your tattoos are, like, so, like, classy and cute. Because I think you're very classy and cute. so,
Thank you. I try.
You're
but,
welcome.
have my moments.
don't
Same
know.
thing though. I'm like, I have that classy style, but I also have that like kind
Funky,
of
yeah.
funky, flirty, fun side to me too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's just different. Like, I feel like everything's so, like, I feel like you can't constrain yourself to be one type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, if someone would be like, well, what's this? I'm like, I don't know. Like, like, any day of the week, I can be different. Because I'm just like, we're all too complicated
I
to be
think
like
that's
that.
also one thing about college. It's like people, they kind of label us student athletes.
Yeah.
But mostly it's more athletes,
Yeah.
right? You're known as being an athlete.
Everyone wants to get all the athlete stuff, which I get. Like, I get it's a big part of my life. I have a lot to say about that. We've achieved something that's not super achievable, and I get that. But there is so many other things, which is one more reason why I want to do this podcast, because I feel like
you're
there's
another
so
hobby, another aspiration. It's another thing you want to do, right?
And it's like, it can be centered around, because I do love throwing. I love track and field, and like,
But there's so much more to you.
but
than that.
and there's so much more to everyone on the team, and that's why I love doing this, because there is, like, there's so much more to you, and there's so much more to everyone, and I love it.
Yeah, because I think with me it's like my identity isn't around just running.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'll do everything to run. Yeah, and I love it.
No, but it is interesting because it's like we're all so different, but there are certain things I think that if you look for it, certain things in every single person on the team that like are similar, and it's like you can see the things that like there's a reason that we're the ones that made it to like an
agree.
elite school.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Whether that's what like their passion to work or their determination,
Yeah.
there are certain assets and qualities in all of
Yeah.
us that are very much the same.
Even if like when you meet someone, and because I feel like when you meet me outside of track, you would never think, like my dad is always like, you're such an unassuming athlete. Like no one would ever think you do athletics. And I'm like, yeah, because my personality is not like that at all. But then when you see me in track, like it's so,
You're a different person.
yeah, it's like you're a different person. So it is
You look
interesting to like see the different sides of things.
There's almost like I'd say it's like you got your split personalities. I have
like a
my
Hannah
track
Montana
side,
life,
and then
yeah.
I've got my outside of track side to me.
That's what everyone makes fun of me because I'm so. I feel like I'm a very like chill person usually, but like at the track meets, I get like they're like, you look so mad all the time and like so intense, and I'm like, that's because I want to win. But then like anything else, I'm just like, oh well.
Well, we are all very competitive.
Yeah.
That's the
I
big
think
thing.
we all are. Yeah, which I love. I love being. I love.
It is until we play
competitivity.
games, and then there's walls across the table.
Oh yeah. Oh my yeah. That was the one tiff me and 80 had last year. Is
There you go.
we had to ban Catan because we got too competitive.
Yeah.
That was the one thing
When we
got.
play Carbo on team trips. Have you played Carbo?
No, because I always bring Rook. That's like my.
Oh,
that's
we
my
played
game.
Rook.
I
Yes, we
love
have
Rook.
played. Rook's fun. But Carbo, I remember the team, like, that was getting competitive. And, like, because you've got to grab people's cards across the table, the boys would just, push and shove. And then us girls are like, well, how are we meant to get that? And, like, it'd be competitive.
No, see, I'd like push and shove against the boys. Like, I'd be like, especially the cross boys, I'd be like, you're not getting my stuff.
You'd get up and be like, boom, they're flattened.
Yes.
So, yeah, it is, but it makes it fun. And it's good that we can also have that social element, too, when we travel and stuff like that, to make it not less serious, but it also, I think, takes the pressure off a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like nothing's that serious. Like, I feel like I used to take things so seriously, and
But
like,
it's
not
fun.
that serious.
We do
Especially
it
when you
to
get to the
have
meets,
fun.
like, at that point, there's nothing else we can do. If you're working and training hard, there's literally nothing else you can do once you're at the meet. Like, just go out there and do your best and have fun.
I think trust the process, you've already done the work.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay. I'm not going to, like, change my technique an hour before I go throw.
Yeah, exactly. That is so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
well.
this might be it.
I think end of podcast.
All right, guys. I hope everyone has a blessed week and great day. And I'm so happy if you listen to all of this.
Yeah, our however long rant of
Yeah.
just discussing stuff. I knew that was going to happen.
No, but those are the best. Those are like the ones I like to listen to on walks and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I was like,
all right. I love you guys so much. Bye.